Hey guys, what's up? You're welcome to yet another amazing episode of Nexperts in the Lounge. If this is your first time joining us, please be sure to subscribe. And if this isn't your first time, you know how we do. Be sure to like, share, and comment. Today's episode promises to be fun because we have a super amazing guest in the house. I cannot wait for you to meet her, and I cannot wait for us to get started. I already mentioned earlier that we have a super amazing guest in the house. I am particularly excited. I know I always sound particularly excited, but this time I am particularly excited because you would know as the energy goddess, you know, the black media, the black media girl. You know, she's the multi-talented, on-air personality, model, actor, MC.
That's all me.
You know her as the Lady Kofo.
Hiya.
So welcome our guest into the lounge today.
Thank you. That's all me. Wow.
That's me.
I'm trying in this industry.
This lady is proud. We've been trying to get her here for weeks now.
It's not easy.
And today she graced us with her presence. Isn't that wonderful?
It is.
Isn't that just wonderful?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so sorry. I mean, Lagos is like it's extreme sports.
We understand. It's you, so it's fine.
Thank you.
How are you though?
I'm good. How are you doing?
All right.
I'm glowing. Look at you, girl. Don't start.
Let's say the same for you. You are glowing.
Thank you.
Let me just chip in this amebo question before we start it. Just in case, you know, for people who are watching, who are wondering, is the lady? I know I'm skipping a lot of, you know, but is the Lady Kofo available?
Available for enjoyment? Yes, I am.
For suffering.
For what now? You said available. I mean,
are you in a relationship?
No, I'm not. Very single. Slide in my DMs, please. I beg you.
Who is
it was my type.
Because all this glow.
My type. Let me clear my voice. I don't know if you know him. He's the official EOS for East South Africa. His name is Kat Sinivasan.
So
fine boy. That's my type. I'm sorry. I mean, if you are not close, lose my number. I'm just saying. Lose my number. Okay.
So let's just go back to ground zero. Ground zero.
Okay.
How has this media journey been for you? Basically, let's even start with how did this all start for you?
Okay, so first things first, I knew I was very much expressive as a person. Even while growing up, I used to be in the drama unit in church. I used to read memory verse. I used to be very, very active in church, but it was beyond that. I didn't know it was beyond that until I got into Obafemi Awolowo University. I'm like, nah. And it was my first year, second semester. I was already bored. I studied history and international relations. It's like so boring. It's like the same process over and over and over again. Now you had to read like box of books, and I'm like, I cannot do this with my life even after school. And I'm like, what do I want to do? So I was relating to my pastor as a then, and then he was like, okay, you're quite fluent, you like to express yourself, you're very outspoken. Why don't you channel that energy into something more fun for you? And I'm like, okay, what do you suggest? And then they were like, okay, if I can do maybe media, maybe TV, radio. And I'm like, okay, that's like a huge decision. And the fact that I didn't even have a GP in my first year. I'm like, what would I do? But the fact that I actually prayed about it, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just try first. And then the first time I went to the radio, I lost my voice. Like they're like, hi, we have Kofo in the studio with us, and I was like, okay, let's go on a short break. We're going to come back. I'm like, what just happened? But I mean, it was the fact that I wanted more as a person and as a student. And I mean, going on that journey with radio back in school, it just evolved into something really beautiful that I actually wanted to do after school. So it was like TV was like I literally stumbled on TV because radio in Lagos, you have to have an accent. You gotta be from Ene, and I'm like, I cannot fake that. And
we are trying to say
I'm just saying. And I had to make the brand more flexible. So I then delved into TV, and then TV has been really fun.
You've been
very
fantastic
fun.
at TV.
Thank you.
Well, you know, you mentioned something, and that I feel it's worth, you know, expanding on, you mentioned something about talking to your pastor and praying.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that you're very vocal about your faith.
Yes, I am.
And that's not something that's very common, with people in your field.
Well,
but how has it, how do you think? I don't use the word balance because I feel like the word balance is a little bit abused. But how do you do it basically?
Well, I mean, I think it comes from a place of actually understanding who I am, and I'm from a very strong Christian background. In as much as I can seem to want to be an adventurous person, I also don't take away the fact that I am of God and I cannot do some certain things. And I also try to make that really, really obvious in my conversations, in the kind of content I put out, so you don't get to mistake me for someone else or something else. So it's hard for you to walk up to me and give me a job that is not befitting to my brand or to my value as a person. So it just what I say, I just literally just do it even without knowing, consciously or unconsciously. So I walk into a place, I greet everybody, I'm about like Jesus. There's some conversations I cannot have, and there's some things I cannot do. There's some places that I cannot be seen at, not because I don't want to, but because I literally know how important I actually am.
That's beautiful.
I don't know.
That's beautiful. I think it's very important, to carve a niche for yourself. It's not about copy and paste and stuff. And one thing I'd also like to know, or like you to, I know you would probably feel like you're not OG status yet. Okay. But what sort of advice would you give people who are just starting up and given how many people would say that the industry is very tough and stuff, as in you have to have what's the word? Tough skin. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
But what would you advise people who are just venturing into this?
Honestly speaking, you actually have to want it. It goes beyond the glitz, the glam, the attending, A-list events and hanging out with the top guys and all that stuff. But you actually have to want it. And the reason why you want it is going to keep you going. So if you want to be in the media space because you actually just it's fine if you just want to be in media space for just wanting to be in the media space. It's totally fine. It's not a big deal. Nobody should make you feel bad for that. But it should go beyond that. It should be something more tangible. It should be like, okay, I want to do this because my whole life depends on it. Like when people ask me, do you see yourself doing something else? And I'm like, no. I mean, I studied history. If I want to further my degree to some level, it might be maybe in international, because I did history and international relations. So maybe international diplomacy and all that stuff. But I don't really see myself wearing suit all day and staring at computer screens. I'm not that person. So I feel like if you actually want to do this media thingy, you have to want it. Let me give you one crazy gist again. The day I was going to audition at Rave Television, I had an accident. I went back home, I changed my outfit. My mom was literally crying.
I think you did tell me this.
I was like, no. My mom was like, okay, sorry to those I don't understand you, but if you don't go today, would the audition not continue? Can't you reschedule or something? I was like, okay, you know what, like I really need to go. I went there, I went back in pains. Like my whole arm, I had to wear long sleeve. I didn't even have words to explain. It was intense. It was so crazy. And then I didn't get the job. They told me they were going to get back to me. I was like, what did I do with my life? What am I doing? And then the thought of, okay, maybe you should just try to get a 9 to 5. I mean, it's just NYC till when you get NYC call up letter and all that stuff. But I didn't get job until the 4th of April. And they had already sent me the mail, but I didn't see it. They now called me like, Mom, we sent you a mail. Please do check your mail and then try and come to the office as soon as you can. I was like, no way. So it just shows that God will still, God will keep up. It will keep showing up for you if you actually allow Him. Okay, I'm seeing faith things. See me now. I'm so sorry. I find difficulty doing it, but you want it. You can take classes, you can do online courses, you can take YouTube. There's so many things. I mean, thank God to technology. There's so many things you can do. There's so many. Like I literally still watch. If I can think that's what you will not believe. I still do a lot of YouTube. Like I'm literally I get really scared anytime I need to post anything. Like it's just normal. Like I want to be better. And that's quite shocking. And I just want to because
every single time I see you, you're
stuff with joy.
I'm serious. I'm actually being serious. And what's actually so beautiful is that in the past year or years, your growth has been really evident.
Wow.
As in, it really is evident. You keep getting better and better and better, and we see that you're very. One thing I also really admire about you is how you're so comfortable in your skin.
Oh, it was a long journey to get here. Honestly, I remember growing up. I mean, I was pretty dark. I mean, I still go through my Facebook and I see old pictures. I'm like, who actually dated me when I was like this? I mean, they deserve a Grammy or something. Like, did you really like me? So I mean, it was a long journey, and it was a journey I had to take for myself, because if I wasn't confident, it would reflect in how I carry myself, the things I say, how I allow people to treat me. So it would literally reflect. I remember growing up, like I said, it was a long, hard journey, because they called me Omodudu, and I'm like, what does that even mean? That's very derogatory. What do you mean Omodudu, please? And then I had to like, okay, you know what? You're black, and then so that you take this skin and you take this body and love it, because your life actually, what I say, because your soul actually lives in it, your spirit lives in it. So you have to actually love this. Body. Like, you know, you have to actually love it. So I was like, oh, you know what, let's actually make a brand of this thing. That's where the black media girl came up from. And I'm like, okay, that's really nice. So I know BMGB, I'm like, oh hi, oh, they like my skin. And when I say I get really distinguished from the crowd with how much I actually like and carry myself.
Yes,
so.
There's a lot of confidence, man. I need to tap into that.
Thank you, princesses.
But of course, it's a game show. We have to play games.
Wait first. Let me put disclaimer. My face is made up. I'm going to remove this wig if it gets really hard.
See,
please.
Everybody knows my favorite part is when it's donuts
Please, I beg
on a
you.
string. I can't wait to see that.
I don't eat donuts.
Sorry, what do you think? I always say it's my favorite part, but Lady Kofo, are you ready to have fun?
No, I'm not.
you have to suck it up. You can do this.
Okay.
Say it, I can do it.
I can do this.
So she has to eat this under 2 minutes. Let's get started.
I can't touch it, can I?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Imagine this is a bag and you're getting it.
I cannot get this bag.
Yes! Bite it! Yes, bite it! Okay. Yes!
I can't believe this thing, man.
This is hilarious. I can't wait for your fun. She wants to remove my shoes.
Bring some energy to it.
I can't wait for your fans to see this.
Oh yeah, that's it.
I can't share the Don't worry, you have less than 30 seconds to go.
Use your nose to stop it. It's gonna mess up your makeup.
Oh, this is so cute.
This is not cute.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Oh. How do you feel though?
I don't know what.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, really nice.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. It's been so much fun having the Lady Kofo in the studio here with us, in the lounge here with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you were here. It was so much fun. Of course, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please do feel free to drop a comment or two. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Hiya.
Hi guys, my name is Lady Kofo and I've had such a great time at the Next Pad Gaming Lounge. I mean, whatever you guys see, I was under duress, just so you know. But it was really fun. I enjoyed my experience there and I want you guys to also try and make it a date, yes, with Next Pad Gaming Lounge. You're gonna have so much fun. I mean, have you seen this? If you have not seen it, I think you're living under a rock. Thank you so much. Do well to keep it locked down here because this is where entertainment lives.